Hello and welcome to Grillin and Chillin with Coleman. And as you guessed it, I'm Coleman. I appreciate you guys all coming this evening to my first ever live with Coleman. I want to welcome everybody this evening. We're actually broadcasting live tonight on Facebook, YouTube. Actually got a couple pages over on our Facebook page. We're broadcasting live on Grillin and Chillin with Coleman. We add that up here to the screen. We're broadcasting live over here, and we're also broadcasting live to Grillin' and Chillin' with Friends. So I appreciate everybody joining us from those pages. If you would leave me a comment down below to let me know that you're here. That way I can see you. I'll scroll back through there. I see Chuck Collins. How are you, sir? I see you in the chat. Appreciate you coming. Hobo, thanks for coming, buddy. I appreciate it. Mr. Homeowner, my buddy Rob. We talk about Rob a little bit later. Those of you, if you notice in the comments, it says Facebook users, and someone says, hey, man, I appreciate that. I actually can't see who you are unless you click on the StreamYard link and give StreamYard permission to show your face and your name. Otherwise, you just show up as Facebook users, and I have no idea who you are. Postal Barbecues here. Jabin, I appreciate you stopping in. Love your videos, man. Love your videos. And those of you from Facebook on Grillin' and Chillin' with Friends, you see Jabin post some of his videos on our page over there. Evan, I appreciate you showing up. And then Darnell, my buddy, how are you, Darnell? Darnell just went through a rally and watched all the videos on the channel and made a comment and liked every single one of them. So Darnell, I appreciate you coming on over. We're also streaming live on YouTube, and that's where most of you are watching this evening. If you are on Facebook, I'd recommend that you hop over onto the YouTube page. That's where a lot of the live chat is going on, and that's where everybody's going to be talking back and forth, and I'll be able to see your questions there. I'll be able to see some of your questions from the Facebook page, but I won't be able to see who answers it. Let's see, who else do we have on here? We've got my friend Brittany from out in New Mexico. Brittany, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. And then my best friend in the whole stinking world, Mr. Stephen Allmiller. Sup, punk? I miss you, buddy. Wish you were here. Daddy Dutch, Kent, how are you, sir? I appreciate you showing up. Watched your video today on your competition you had this past weekend. Appreciate you coming on over. Who else do we have in here? Cooking with Stephen and Jacqueline. Thank you guys for coming over. I see you guys in the chat on a lot of other channels, and I appreciate you coming in and watching me this evening. Well, if you haven't joined, if you're over on Facebook and you're watching on Grillin' and Chillin' with Coleman, I'm going to share my screen real quick. I'm going to recommend that you hop on over to our other page, which is Grillin' and Chillin' with Friends. If you haven't joined that page, go on over and take a look at that page. That's where all the fun things happen. Everybody shares your cooks on that page, and we make comments and a lot of great questions. Darnell asked a question today about a Kamado cooker that we were able to jump in on and get some answers to. It's where I post a lot of my new videos coming out, and Jabin posts some videos there. CJ posts some videos on that page. But that's where you get a lot. There's a lot of fun stuff that happens on Grillin and Chillin. So if you haven't joined that page, I'd advise you to go over there and like it, answer a few questions, and we'll let you in. Got another friend of mine, Laura Crosley. How are you, Laura? I appreciate you stopping in. If Nolan's sitting there with you, I know he doesn't do the internet thing, but hey, Nolan, I appreciate you guys coming on over. All right, we're going to be doing a giveaway this evening later on in the show. So you got to listen to what I'm going to be talking about this evening. I'm going to tell you some interesting stuff about me. I've got a special announcement coming up later in the show, but we're going to be giving away this evening a set of gloves. Now, these are the gloves that I use. You've probably seen them in a lot of my videos. They're insulated, silicone rubber, they're magnetic, and I actually bought these from a company, and I'm going to share their website real quick. I'm not a member of them, but here we go. It's called MagnaChef. They actually have a magnet in the center of them to make them easier to pull off and on. You can click them on and pull them off. These are my green ones. You guys seen a lot of the green stuff I have in my videos. But tonight, I actually won a set of gloves. I was listening to a live show here about a month ago on Cooking with CJ, and he had a drawing one evening for a set of these gloves, and I actually won a pair. And since I bought a pair earlier that day, I'm going to go ahead and give these away. So I've got a nice pair of blue, one size fits all, and I'm going to be giving those gloves away this evening. So you got to pay attention and listen to some of the stories I tell tonight. And then later on in the evening, I'm going to be asking a question, and the first person I see in the chat that answers that question is going to win those gloves. And that the great guy, he was on the show. He's actually a firefighter down in Florida. Started this company and built the gloves around firefighting and being able to protect your hands from heat. And then he designed these gloves. I think they're kind of neat. They're actually kind of the Vulcan grip. They call it a tripod, but it really gives me a good grip on things when I'm lifting it up and really protects my hands. So you can step on over to that website and if you want to pick some up. Otherwise, or you can just wait to see if you win some this evening. But I'm going to be giving away a pair tonight, so pay attention to some of the stuff I'm saying. I'll try not to ramble on too much. And again, I want to say hi to a couple more folks in the live chat. My buddy Tommy Reynolds, he's out in the godforsaken country of Midland, Texas. Tommy and I have been friends for probably 30 years. I appreciate you jumping on. Let's see if we've got anybody else in the chat that I haven't called out yet. But I appreciate everybody being here this evening and spending some time with me. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, because I had a live chat here several months ago, but really didn't get to visit a whole lot. But I wanted to share a little bit of information about me. If you're new to my channel, just so you can get to know me a little bit. And again, later I've got a special announcement we're going to be making later on in the show about one of our folks today on the live stream. But my name is Coleman. I live in North Texas, up north of Dallas, about an hour north of Dallas. Me and my wife, my honey, have been married for 13 years. I was a single father of 3 kids. My kids were 10, 8, and 6. And I became a single dad in 2002 and decided I'd never get married again. My ex decided she didn't like barbecue, so I had to kick her to the curb. Not what happened, but anyway. So I stayed single for quite a while, and then in 2005, I met my middle boy's 6th grade teacher. That was in 2005. We started dating, and then 18 months later, I married the love of my life, and we've been now married for 13 years. We got married in 2007. We're about to celebrate 14 years. So we've got her and I live here in North Texas together. And my wife and my kids are very supportive of my YouTube channel, my Facebook pages. Matter of fact, my oldest daughter is a moderator on the Grillin and Chillin with Friends page. So she helps me keep track of that page and make sure everybody plays nice and keeps everything PG-13. And I'll tell you a little secret about her. I don't see her in the chat, but my daughter is, how this happened, I have no idea, but she's actually a vegan. And but she supports my channel, watches all of my videos, helps out with the chat, and love her to death, but she's my oldest, and she was just here for Christmas. My oldest son, my middle boy, is he's usually the first one to comment on all my videos when I produce them out there. As soon as I post them, he's usually one of the first ones to watch it and the first one to comment. So I appreciate him. I don't know if he's in here this evening. I haven't seen him in the comments yet so far, but we're another thing about my wife and I is we are animal lovers. We love animals. We live out in the country, out here in North Texas. There's not many houses within a mile of us, and we've got 3 dogs. And funny little thing about my wife and I is we actually name all of our animals after alcohol. Now, so when we get a new animal, whether it's a horse or a goat or a dog or whatever we have, we go to the liquor store, we walk around, and sorry, Tommy, I left your comment up there on the screen. We walk around a liquor store and we pick out a new name for our animals. So we've got 3 dogs. Our first one is an English Mastiff, and her name is Shinerbach. And if those of you who don't know Shiner's a great beer in Texas. Then we have a boxer, a white boxer, and her name is Paloma, after the mixed drink. And then my wife wanted a lap dog, and she got a little half Jack Russell, half Shih Tzu. So she's got a little Jack shit, and she hates it when I call it that, but that's what it is. And she named her Chardonnay. So those are our 3 dogs. And then my wife has a bearded dragon. You know, usually it's women are not real big into reptiles, but my wife loves her reptiles. And you see Brittany Crane in the comments. She's also real big into reptiles. But my wife has a bearded dragon, and his name is Newcastle. So 3 dogs, 1 bearded dragon. That's really all the animals that we have for right now. But we love it out here. I've been doing outdoor cooking and teaching cooking for about 30 years now. I started off in the Boy Scouts years ago, mainly doing Dutch oven cooking, campfire cooking, those kind of things, tinfoil dinner. And then on my 40th birthday, my wife bought me a gas grill. And I started barbecuing. And I wasn't very good at it when I first started out because I was used to cast iron cooking. But I watched a lot of YouTube videos. We all know T. Roy Cooks. We know Barbecue Pit Boys. We know Baby Back Maniac. Those are all the guys that I started watching, and I started learning how to barbecue. And I think I got pretty good at it. I really enjoy it. So about 3 years ago, my mother-in-law was here for my birthday, and I was cooking stuff for everybody. She says, Coleman, you ought to start you a YouTube channel. So she's the one that started all this. She's the one that encouraged me to jump in and start this YouTube channel. And then we got it started. In April of last year. So right after COVID, we got the channel started, and I've been having a lot of fun ever since. I love all the comments you guys leave on the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. I love all the stuff that you guys post on there. Enjoy making the videos. So I appreciate all the support you guys have given me. Now, my channel's a little different. If you watch my intro video, I'm not about the competition cooking. I'm not about making brisket look good in a styrofoam box. I'm about making great food for backyard get-togethers on your deck with your friends and your family. That's what I'm about. I'm about cooking food, good food, making it taste good. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm not into competition grilling, so if you're into that, I'm probably not the channel for you. Hopefully, you've had a chance to see my latest video that I released just this couple days ago on smoked queso. Getting ready for Super Bowl coming up. Wanted to make sure everybody had a new video about something they could put together for Super Bowl. But I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel called Game Day Foods, and I got wings on there, jalapeno poppers, Texas Twinkies, and now we put the queso on there. So some great ideas on there for Game Day Foods coming up this weekend. I'm going to be filming a new video this weekend if I can film over my wife's yelling and screaming. Sadly, my wife is a Tom Brady fan, and it's hard when you're a Cowboys fan like I am to be married to a Tom Brady fan. But we typically don't have anybody over for football. she likes to watch the game alone, and she'll do her yelling and screaming, and I'll be outside trying to film. We're not going to be on very long, so I appreciate everybody jumping on. I'm going to open it up for a couple questions. If you got some questions that you'd like to ask me directly, nothing is off the table. If it's too personal, too private, I'll just tell you I'm not going to answer it, but love to share a little bit of information about myself. If you've got some questions, put it in the comments and put 3 question marks, your question, and then 3 more question marks. So if you'll enter your questions in there, I'm going to scroll through real quick and take a look at some of the folks that are in the chat and see if we've got any questions real quick. I'm just looking through. I appreciate it. If you've got a question for me, type in. All right, Evan. Evan gave a question. Says, "What do you do?" I'm actually a director for a franchise company, and I do sales and marketing is what I've been doing for about the last 30 years. I own a couple different companies on the side as well, but my main income is I'm a franchise marketing and sales director for a company out in Atlanta. Then I work remotely here in Texas. Great question. Next question: what is your favorite cooker to use on for day-to-day? Postal Jabin, great question. If you've watched a lot of my videos, the grill that I use the most is my Kamado Joe. So I have an outdoor kitchen. You guys have all seen it on the videos, and I built that entire kitchen around this nice, big, expensive gas grill, built in, concrete countertops, so it fits in there perfectly. And I used it for about 6 months, and then somebody convinced me to buy a Kamado Joe. And why the heck I would ever spend that kind of money on something that cooks with charcoal, I don't know. But you know what? That was the happiest day of my life when I finally bought that thing, had it shipped here, and started cooking on it. And now my gas grill, I'll have to show you guys a picture of it someday on the video. If you open up my gas grill, I store all my pots and pans in there. Occasionally I might film a video in that thing, but mainly I just store pots and pans and cast iron and things inside of there. Now, I've got a Weber kettle. I've got a small 22-inch Weber kettle. And then my wife, for my birthday, just got me a new 26-inch Weber kettle. So if I just had one grill to grill with, Javen, great question, it'd be my Kamado Joe. I love that thing. That cooker it'll take any barbecuer and make them a master. So I'm not really as good as I seem on the video. I just have an excellent grill that really helps me out in grilling and cooking. But I also love my Weber kettle. And if you're just starting out, in barbecuing, the Weber kettle is a great cooker to go with. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring up my website real quick. This is my website. And up here at the top, I have Barbecue Essentials, one of the pages. So if you're just starting out in barbecuing and you're going to start building your equipment and getting a few things for your backyard, I have a page on here, and my website is Grillin and Chillin with Coleman. And there's a page that shows you a lot of the basics that you can put together. And there's links on all these. You click on the pictures, it'll take you over to Amazon, and you can pick these items up. But it's a lot of the basics, and these are the things that you can start off with, and not spend too much money. But the Weber kettle is one in there, is a great starter grill. So I do appreciate that. Good question. Look for Darnell's got a question. Do my kids cook? That's actually one of the benefits of starting this show is, well, my youngest son has been in food. He actually works for a pizza joint out in New Mexico. And when he came out here for Christmas, I have a pizza oven on the outdoor kitchen, and we fired it up, and my youngest son made pizzas for everybody. But my middle boy never really got into outdoor cooking. And once I started this channel and he started watching all my videos, he went out and bought a Weber kettle, went out and bought a slow and sear, bought a few accessories, and he got real excited about grilling and barbecuing. He was sending me pictures almost every day of things he was grilling. He'd watch one of my videos, and then then he'd go home and he'd go to the house and he'd cook it and he'd send me pictures of it. So he's really gotten into grilling and barbecuing, and I love to see that. Love to see my kids grilling and barbecuing. My youngest son, he cooks, and my daughter, I mentioned earlier, she's a vegan. I don't know what she cooks. I think she goes out in the yard and just grazes or something. I'm not sure what she does, what she cooks, but actually she's a great cook. She made Christmas dinner for us. Tommy's got a question. What is Liz's favorite thing that I cook? Tommy, great question. One of the things that she asks me for all the time she asks me for, and that's pulled pork. She loves how I do my pulled pork, and I'll do them. Actually, I take 10-pound pulled porks. I can fit 4 of them on the Kamado Joe, and I smoke those. It takes me probably 6 to 8 hours, depending on the pork butt. We'll take them off. I'll pull them apart. We'll vacuum seal them, put them in bags and vacuum seal them, stick them in the freezer, and then we'll eat on that pulled pork for a month or two after that. So we're all out now. She's been bugging me now to put some more pulled pork on there, so I need to go down and pick up 4 more. But she loves my pulled pork, and I enjoy making it. It's good. Next question: is there a particular charcoal that you like to use? Great question. Efren, I appreciate you asking that. I've used several. There's, depending on what I'm cooking on and what I'm doing. If I'm doing a low and slow cook, like a pork butt or ribs or a brisket, I'm going to use lump charcoal. For me, it tends to give me a longer cook. Plus, it works really well in the Kamado Joe. And if I'm going to do a hot and fast cook, I'm going to use briquettes. To be honest with you, I use the Walmart brand. I've been using it for years. I've done some tests with Fogo and Red Devil and the Kamado Joe Big Block, and I've tested them against burn time and temperature and length of time, and I really haven't found that they produce any more than a bag of the generic stuff from Walmart. So that's what I use quite a bit of. Smoke wood is really what's important to use when you're cooking, but when it comes to charcoal, I go down to whatever on sale is what I buy. Darnell had a go. Gas grills are only good for burgers and hot dogs, exactly, and that's typically what I use it for. I also do a Fireball pineapple on a gas grill that works out real well. Evan asked a question: do I have any experience with RecTech? No, I don't. I've got experience with a couple of the gas grills, the Kamado Joes, the Big Green Eggs, the Weber kettles, but RecTech, I think it's a pellet grill. I bought a pellet grill a couple of years ago, Green Mountain Grill. It was a tailgater. Cooked on it for a couple of months, and I hated it. I couldn't keep the temperature stable. Even put a cover over the top of it to try to help it retain the heat, but the temperatures just fluctuated so bad, and I guess it kind of turned me off to the pellet grills. So I just never bought another one, and I probably won't. Now that I have my Kamado Joe, that's my grill of choice. That's what I love cooking on. So give me 1 second. Let me get a drink. Chandra has a question. It says, no, you mentioned before that you're not into grilling seafood, but do you have any future and plans to do videos that you want any game meats? I don't grill a lot of seafood. Surprisingly, if you ask my wife and I what our favorite meal is, it's actually sushi. I prefer sushi over just about anything, and that doesn't need a whole lot of grilling. So usually the seafood I eat is that. But one of the things we do, we have a 28-acre lake here on our property, and it is chock full of bass. We got bass, perch, and catfish, and we catch a lot of fish out of there and grill those. So good question. Probably what I need to do is maybe start filming some videos on doing some cedar plank fish or doing some fish on the gas grill. But mainly what I do with the fish that come out of our lake is I do a beer batter and I deep fry them. It's probably, you can probably tell by the size of me, that's what I like to do. Someone asked a question: who's the lady in the window over your shoulder? Oh, you can see her out here, I guess. out here in the window. That is actually something that my mom made for my wife. My mom passed away about 2 years ago this week, and right before she passed away, she made this macrame. She was a sewer. She loved making dresses, and she made that for my wife, and it's supposed to look like my wife. It's got her Patriot badge on there and her red hair, and so we keep that up here to remind me of my mom, and I miss her a lot, and but thanks for asking about it. I think of my mom every time I see that. So great question. See if we got any more questions before I move on. Your audio sounds great. Did you get special equipment for the lives? Great question, Rob. Actually, what I'm using for audio is I use a, if you can see it, I use a Rode mic. I bought it when I first started filming YouTube videos, and was planning on using it in my videos. Let's put his question out. Planning on using it in my videos on my camera, but I decided to go with a Rode wireless mic. So I actually use a lapel wireless mic in the videos, and I just took that microphone that I had earlier, put it on here, wired it into the computer, and then I got some special software. So thank you. I appreciate you saying that about the audio, because I wasn't sure how I was coming through. Evan asked another good question. What is a few of your favorite things to barbecue? One of my favorite things to grill is probably wings. I love making wings. I love making baby back ribs. I use the 3-2-1 method on my ribs. If you've seen my rib video, I did it on a gas grill, but I need to redo that video on a Kamado Joe. But I cook my ribs a little different. Again, I'm not a competition cooker. So a lot of guys will watch my rib video that are competition cookers and say, hey, you overcook them. They fall off the bone. Well, guess what? That's the way I like them. I like them fall off the bone. That's the way I like to eat them. Everybody that I cook them for loves to eat them that way. So that's how I make them. So if you want to make them that way, follow my video on how to make ribs. But ribs and wings are probably my two favorite things to grill. But I do a lot of Dutch oven stuff also. I do a lot of cobblers and pineapple upside down cake and green chili chicken enchiladas in a Dutch oven. So I do a lot of cooking that way as well. But on the grill, again, probably wings and ribs. So, Jamin, I see you got to head out. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming over. Let's see if I got any more questions real quick. I don't want to keep you guys on too long. So let's go ahead and move on. I appreciate you guys asking the questions. I also appreciate you guys. I had a lot of you folks reached out to me here earlier this month. Let me change this banner real quick. Reached out to me this month. My wife and I both got COVID earlier this month, and it hurt a lot less than it hit me. But it put me down for about a month, and I'm still recovering from it. So there was a period where I wasn't putting out any videos. So I appreciate you guys checking on me, and those of you who knew were praying for me and sending me messages and things. So I do appreciate that. Almost recovered. I'm starting to lose my voice because I haven't talked this much in a while. But I want to move on to our special announcement that I actually scheduled this thing for. And that special announcement is I'm actually going to be going live. I was contacted a few months ago by a gentleman that has another barbecue show called Cooking with CJ, and Jabin, who was in the chat earlier, he actually contacted me and said, "Hey, you'd be great for the hot seat." And CJ contacted me and asked me to be on the show, and we got it scheduled. And then all of a sudden, CJ decided to retire, but he has handed the show over to. Hey, I see my sister-in-law in there. Thanks for coming over, Michelle. And Mr. Cast Iron's in the show. So Mr. Homeowner and Hobo are going to be hosting the hot seat, and that is going to be tomorrow night. And it's going to be on Mr. Homeowner Cooking and DIY. Let me show his his screen real quick so you can see it. This is his screen here. If you want to catch the live show, it's going to be tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, and it's going to be live for an hour, hour and a half. And Rob and Hobo are going to be interviewing me, asking questions and harassing me. And I know Rob's the nicer guy. Hobo, I've been picking on him quite a bit, so not sure how nice he's going to be to me on the show. But it's going to be tomorrow evening again at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So hop on over to his show, to his channel. If you look down below in the description of this video, I put a link to Rob's show, or to Rob's channel, Mr. Homeowner. So you can hop over there, subscribe to his channel. He's got some great cooks. He does a lot of DIY stuff around the house. And I'll be live tomorrow on his show at 8 p.m. One of the things I forgot to mention earlier is we've got our Grillin and Chillin stickers in, and I've sent out probably 100 of those stickers so far. So I'd like to, everybody who's in the chat, I'd like you guys to have one. What you'll need to do is pop on over to my website. It's Grillin and Chillin with Coleman, and click on the Contact Us page. Send me your mailing address. And I'll ship one out to you free of charge. I'll pay for the shipping. But I want everybody to be able to have one of those. So you can just send me an email at Coleman@Grillin and Chillin with Coleman. Send me an email, and I'd love to send one of my stickers out to you. And you can post it up there. And once you put it on something, whether it's an ice chest or refrigerator or throw it in the trash, whatever you want to do to it, send me a picture and post it on the Facebook page. I love to see where you put those. So I appreciate that. But we've got a couple new viewers. Joy Marie Franklin, I appreciate you coming in. Brian Levelway, a buddy of mine. Brian, good to see you. Mr. Cast Iron, how are you, sir? Who else we got in here that I haven't said hi to so far? Hey. Don't tell him, but he's my favorite. My favorite son is in the chat. Hey, Micah, how are you, son? I was talking about you earlier. All right, let's turn that off. So I want to go ahead and get to my question. I mentioned earlier that I was going to have a question this evening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off these banners, and I'm going to look at the chat. Now, I've got a question for you. We're going to be giving away these gloves this evening. So I've got a question for you, and I'm looking for the answer. And it's the first person that types the answer in the chat. It's the first person I see. If I miss one, I hope I don't. But Facebook user listening from San Angelo. I wonder who that is. See, I wonder who that is. Type your name if you want to say hi. I'd love to know who you are from San Angelo. Anyway, I've got a question for you. The first person to type the answer into the chat will win these gloves. Okay, I'll send them right out. All I'll need for you to do, whoever wins, is I'll mention it here. I'll write it down. Send me an email. Send me an email with your mailing address, and I'll get them shipped out to you ASAP. So, Robert. Hey, Robert, how are you, sir? Robert Grafton. I've known Robert for almost 30 years, so good to see you. Eastwood Farms. Chris, how are you, sir? All right, question. I mentioned I had 3 dogs, and I mentioned they were all named after alcohol. I mentioned that my Mastiff's name, I mentioned what my boxer's name, and I mentioned what my wife's dog's name was. So what is my boxer's name? What is my boxer's name? Newcastle, nope. Shinerbach, nope. Camp Paloma, Brittany Crane. Brittany Crane won. She got it. It was Paloma. Tommy said Shiner. Even my son said Shiner. No, no. Our boxer's name. By the way, Mr. Homeowner, thanks for that clue about watching the YouTube chat. That way I could see who won. So, Brittany, if you'll email me your address, I'll get those gloves sent right out to you. So I appreciate that. I've been having a lot of questions about. I'm going to keep this short. We're almost done. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Plus, a good friend of mine, Mike, over at the Dude's Kitchen, is having a live this evening in about 30 minutes. So I didn't want to run into his show at all. If you've got any more questions, you can type them in the chat. Make sure you put them in there with 3 question marks, your question, and then 3 more question marks. That way I see them. But if you have any more questions real quick before I go into the last thing, type them up there and I'll try to get them answered for you. But I do appreciate everybody being in on the live tonight. I've had a lot of questions about apparel. A lot of folks have been saying, "Hey, have you got T-shirts? Have you got anything that we can sport because we love your channel?" And I do now. So if you go over to my website and you click on the Grillin' and Chillin' stuff right up here, it'll take you over to my merchandise page. I don't want to push this because honestly, I don't know why anybody would wear a T-shirt with my ugly mug on it. I don't even wear them. My wife does. She's got I actually, one day I looked on there and someone had bought a green pullover, and I went downstairs to my wife and said, "Honey, did you buy a green pullover?" And she paid full price for it too. So she did. She wears a green pullover with my ugly mug on it. But if you're interested in merchandise, it does help the channel. It really does help me produce more videos, because those of you guys who do the YouTube, it's not cheap. That prime rib video that I did, I'll have to tell you the story about it someday, but those prime ribs are not cheap. It was $100 just for that piece of meat. So, but again, if you're interested, click on the Grilling and Chilling stuff at the top of the website, and it'll take you over to my merchandise page. So I do appreciate you guys. If you want something, go pick it up. If you don't, it's not going to hurt my feelings, but I do appreciate that. Again, I want to welcome everybody. I'm going to see if we have any questions real quick. Coleman, how did you like Steve Shake I sent you? Eastwood Farm, great question. Chris over at Eastwood Farm says, how do I like the Steve Shake that he sent me? Man, I have been a Meat Church fan for a long time. You'll see a lot of my other videos. I use a lot of the Meat Church stuff. I use them on my pulled pork. I use them on my ribs. I love the honey bacon barbecue. I've used their stuff for a long time. And then Chris over at Eastwood Farm sent me some Uncle Steve Shake, and I'm liking that stuff. Matter of fact, it has made it from the barbecue shelf next to the stove now. So anytime I make something now, I put I'm still new to the Steve Shake stuff, but it's the hot stuff. It has a little kick to it. I can't remember what the name is. If you want to post what it is, Chris, I'd appreciate it. I don't remember. I haven't been using it long enough to know the names of that, but I've been putting that stuff on everything. I love that stuff. And I used matter of fact, my son-in-law was here for Christmas, and he went out in the lake and caught a bunch of fish and brought them back, filleted them, and he wanted to grill them on the grill. And he used several different spices that evening to see which one he liked best. And I'll have to be honest with you, the one he liked the best was the Gator Shake. He put the Gator Shake on the fish, and that was his favorite. So, I appreciate that. Great question. I appreciate you sending me that stuff. I'm actually going to start using that. I'm going to try some of the competition pork rub and the chicken. I'm going to try those on some ribs and some wings coming up soon. So great question. All right, I'm seeing if we have any more questions. What's for Super Bowl Sunday? Michelle Rosenkrantz, my favorite sister-in-law. How are you, sweetie? Well, what's scheduled for Super Bowl Sunday is my wife yelling and screaming. And those of you who know me personally know that I'm a Cowboys fan. I watch every Cowboys game. Yes, it's hard to be a Cowboys fan nowadays, but my wife is a diehard football fan. She puts me to shame. and it's even worse when before the Patriots and now the Tampa Bay is there. It's even worse when Tom Brady is in the Super Bowl. So what's in my future for Super Bowl Sunday is being in my man cave downstairs, watching the game, and she's going to be upstairs yelling and screaming, and the house will be shaking, and she'll be yelling, and the neighbors will probably call the cops on us, even though they're a mile away. So that's what's on my schedule for Super Bowl Sunday, is just listening to my wife, listening to my wife watch football. So she's hilarious. I know one year when I better not tell the story. I don't know if she's in the live or not. Never mind. I'll tell that story another time. We got any more questions real quick before I Mr. Homeowner asked, what flavor did Chris send you? He sent me 8 different spices. I got like the variety pack. I got all 8 of them. So, and I've used probably 4 or 5 of them so far, and I haven't found one that I don't like. Let's see if we got any more questions before I get off. Where I was, Rob, you're pushing it. Okay, was I alive when the Cowboys last won the Super Bowl? Yes, I was. That was in the 90s. Okay, I remember the 3 Super Bowls we won in the 90s. Let me tell you why I'm a Cowboys fan. I actually have a picture right over here. I don't know if anybody can see this picture here or know who that is. If you don't, I grew up in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and at our church we had a gentleman that went to church there that used to come into our Boy Scout troop quite a bit, and he would come and go camping with us. He became one of the assistant scoutmasters, and I grew up without a dad. I didn't have a dad in my life, and so my scoutmaster was kind of my hero. And we had several good assistant scoutmasters in the troop. And one of my assistant scoutmasters was Mr. I called him Mr. Lilly because that's what I knew him by. I knew he played for the Cowboys. I knew he had a Super Bowl ring because he brought it to the meetings. We got to wear it. But I didn't know he was Mr. Ring of Honor, Hall of Famer, Mr. Bob Lilly until I got older. Mr. Lilly and I have stayed friends over the years. But he was my hero growing up. Looked up to him. I played football with his son. We both got full scholarships to play football for. He went to TCU and I went to New Mexico State, and so he was my hero, and that's why I'm a Cowboys fan. I'll never switch. I'll be a Cowboys fan forever, and it's been really hard to be a Cowboys fan over the years. So let's see if I got any more questions in here. It was Trout and Camp House. Okay. Perfect. Let's turn these banners off. Perfect. All right. I don't have any more questions in the chat. I appreciate you guys coming and spending time with me this evening. I don't know how long we've been on. I haven't been watching the clock. 42. Wow. I didn't expect to stay on this long. I do apologize. I don't normally want to stay on longer than 20 or 30 minutes, but man, I just want to tell you, just express my gratitude to everybody for joining me this evening and coming on the live show. And if you get a chance tomorrow, please stop on over to Mr. Homeowner's Facebook page, YouTube channel, Mr. Homeowner Cooking and DIY. Hop on over his channel tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Set the reminder on that video and watch that tomorrow evening. I'm going to give you a little word of warning. My videos are typically PG-13. Our Facebook pages is PG-13. I can't guarantee you that tomorrow's night's channel will be PG-13. So just a word of warning. It's not for kids, but Hobo can get a little wild. So, I appreciate everybody coming in. I'm new to this. This is my first Facebook Live, but I appreciate everybody joining in. I'm going to quit rambling on. Email me for your stickers if you haven't got them. Coleman at Grillin and Chillin with Coleman. Otherwise, we will see you folks tomorrow evening. We'll see you on my next video. And as I end every one of my videos, y'all go grill something.